The Ultimate Husband. By Sky Kissing Wolf.
Episode 181. Daryl laughed after hearing what Lana said. Back in high school, he was the most afraid of Lana out of all his teachers. She was very strict with him, and there was even a time Lana had slapped him when he got the worst score on a test. "Miss Lana, you were strict enough with me back in school," Daryl could not help saying. "During the class reunion a few days ago, didn't you see that all of your classmates are doing well in life? Giselle Lint became a superstar, Diane Jackson became the manager of Eleganza Corporation. Now, look at you. Don't you feel sorry for yourself?" Lana said, shaking her head. Meanwhile, the men beside Lana broke into laughter. "You're Daryl? Haha. I haven't seen you in a few years. You've changed." Daryl thought this man looked familiar when he got out of the car. Now he finally realized who he was. His name was Marcus Orion, and back in the day, he was Daryl's PE teacher. He had been chasing Lana since then. Daryl used to prank Marcus in school, but he did not dare to fight back because Daryl was the second master of the Darby family. He was not someone a PE teacher like Marcus could get back at. However, in the past 2 years, Marcus had quit teaching and started doing business. He started up a small company and was considered a successful man. The tables have turned. Who would have thought Daryl would end up in such bad shape? The sight of Daryl riding a motorbike pleased Marcus greatly. "Daryl, what do you say? Since I was once your teacher, I'm not going to make it hard for you. Just pay back the damage you've done," Marcus said impatiently. This was a brand new car, and only the second time he drove it around. He was planning to drive Lana to Platinum Corporation but bumped into Daryl. He must make him pay today. Meanwhile, Lana looked over at Shelley and asked, "Daryl, is this your wife?" The woman seemed attractive and very elegant. Lana heard from the class that as a live-in son-in-law, he never even touched his wife before. "Ah, no. I'm not his wife," Shelley said, blushing. Even his wife was too embarrassed to admit he was her husband in public. Daryl seemed to be doing pretty bad. "Daryl, I told you to study hard in school and not just play around. Look at you now. You're doing so bad," Lana scowled at Daryl. Even though Lana did not particularly like him, he was still her student. "Miss Lana, you're still the same, always telling me off," Daryl smiled. "Don't pretend it's okay to laugh it off. Although you've graduated, I'm still your teacher, and your senior. I'm telling you, one needs to be ashamed of his wrongdoing. Look at you. Are you happy looking at other classmates becoming successful? Do you feel good about yourself?" Lana scolded. Daryl stretched his hands. "Miss Lana, to be honest, I do regret not studying hard back then, but right now, I kind of like life." If he studied harder back then, he would have at least been able to find work at other corporations after getting kicked out of the Darby clan. Then, he would not have to become a live-in son-in-law. The past 3 years of being live-in son-in-law were not east, but it is all in the past now. Those days are over, especially with what happened with Samantha and Lily in the hospital a few days ago. Daryl was utterly disappointed with the Lindens, and he was never going back there again. Daryl was pleased with his life now. How can you be content with what you have right now?" Lana frowned. Lana did not want to dwell on it further. She pointed at the car. "Never mind, I'll stop lecturing you. You damaged Marcus' car. Don't bother calling the police, just help him fix it." "Because of Lana, I won't call the police. Just pay me $10,000 later. I'll bring it to get fixed." Marcus sneered. 10,000. That was unreasonable, Daryl thought. 5. Daryl's motorbike was severely damaged, while Marcus' car was just slightly dented. His car was just a Buick GL8 that cost no more than $300,000. The damage done was nowhere close to 10,000. Damn him. He's so unreasonable. It was my parking spot, anyways, Daryl thought to himself. This parking spot is meant for cars, not for motorbikes, understood? I know you don't have a car and want to make yourself feel better by parking in a car parking spot, but this is wrong. Do you understand? Marcus continued. Mr. Marcus, I'm just curious to know who said there was a rule that says motorbikes can't park in parking spot. You crashed into my motorbike, and I haven't even asked for you to pay for the damages. Now you're accusing me instead. Besides, this isn't just any parking spot by the road. This belongs to the Platinum Corporation, and I'm not going against the traffic rules. Daryl laughed. Daryl. I'm letting you off easy because you were my student. Don't try to get away with it. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? Marcus sneered as he became angrier. What was wrong with this kid? Episode 182. Daryl seemed unfazed. I wonder who should be ashamed of himself. What are you trying to say? Marcus yelled as he clenched his fist and threatened to punch Daryl. He was a PE teacher, tall and well-built. Beating this kid was nothing. Right at that moment, Lana stopped him. Marcus, don't be impulsive. Although Lana was helping Daryl, she was frustrated with him too. He was just as rebellious as he was back in high school. A thought suddenly occurred to her that Daryl had parked his motorbike here. Daryl, what are you doing here? Do you work at Platinum Corporation? Lana asked. Situated in a high-end area, the Platinum Corporation was only visited by the rich and wealthy. Judging by how Daryl dressed, he seemed to be a staff of the lowest ranking. Daryl, if you don't pay me $10,000 today, don't you try to get away. Marcus scowled, thinking that Daryl was asking for trouble. He was going to punch him hard. Daryl gave him a faint smile, unperturbed. Meanwhile, Lana's phone rang. Her phone was bulging out of her skinny jeans. Once she took the phone out of her pocket, her body instantly became more attractive than it already was. She looked at the phone to see Pearl calling, but she took too long to answer, so Pearl had already hung up on her. Lana had added Pearl on WeChat, and she came here today for her interview. Lana almost missed her appointment because of the accident. It was Lana's first time coming to such a big corporation, and she wanted to leave a good impression. Miss Lana, please go up. Leave this to me. Marcus said confidently. He was too afraid to speak up to Daryl in the past because he was the second master of the Darby family. Now that this kid was doing so badly himself, how could he miss out on such a great opportunity? Come on kid, just pay up. Marcus glared at him. Shelley, who remained silent up till now, could not stand it any longer. How can you be so unreasonable? You were the one that bumped into us. How dare you ask us to pay, she said. Shelley figured that the man and woman standing in front of her were Daryl's old high school teachers, but how could teachers be so unreasonable? I've repeated myself many times, gorgeous. I'm not trying to criticize you, but why would you be friends with trash like Daryl? What benefit do you get from someone like him? Marcus replied with a faint smile. Trash. Trash who helped her become the director of the hospital. Shelley thought. As Shelley was about to speak up, a woman dressed in professional attire with high heels and black-rimmed glasses marched towards them from the lobby. Secretary Han. Lana called out as she hastily rushed forward. She had only seen her once, so she remembered. Pearl nodded but did not answer back as she marched towards Daryl. Upon hearing the words, Secretary Han, Marcus rushed forwards too. Hello, Secretary Han. In a big corporation like this, a motorbike cannot enter the car park, am I correct? Look at this. He parked his motorbike in a car parking spot and bumped my car. Don't you think it's reasonable to ask him to pay for the damage? Marcus asked loudly. Lana was about to sign with Platinum Corporation and become their biggest asset, and Marcus went with her. If this secretary were smart, she would know which side to stand on. Meanwhile, Lana shook her head, agreeing with Marcus. Daryl's actions rendered her speechless. It was a small matter, and paying a little would have solved the problem, but he wanted to cause trouble instead. Now that Secretary Han was here, it was likely that he might end up losing his job. Episode 183. However, Pearl Han stopped abruptly in front of Daryl and greeted him with a 90-degree bow. President Daryl, I'm very sorry. I can reassure you that this won't happen again. Pearl said nervously as cold sweat dripped off her forehead. She was nervous and anxious. As a secretary, she was in charge of all the small matters in the corporation, including the car park. Before, when Giselle came for an interview, a similar incident happened. Today Lana came for an interview and the same thing happened again. No matter how nice Daryl might seem, it would not be surprising if he gets mad. President. Secretary Han called Daryl President, the crowd thought. Everyone was shocked. Even the few staff watching the whole event were overtaken by fear and shock. Whenever Daryl dropped by the corporation, he usually went straight to his office, so not many people recognized him. Suddenly, there was pin-drop silence at the scene. Everyone had their mouth and eyes wide opened in disbelief. This guy with the motorbike was the president of the Platinum Corporation. Was that a joke, they thought. Marcus walked over, refusing to believe what he heard. Are you mistaken? He's the president of the corporation. Secretary Han, don't try to prank me. As a secretary myself, are you saying I don't know who my president is? Pearl replied. Lana felt a shiver in her body, and she bit her lips as she thought, didn't my class say he's a live-in son-in-law? How? Why is he the president? And the company I'm interviewing for is his. Marcus, who was stunned, reacted swiftly and snapped. Fine, Daryl, so what if you're the president of the Platinum Corporation? Does that give you the right to park your motorbike in a car parking spot? Is this good leadership? With a leader like you, what good does it make to have a big corporation like this? He roared, attracting the attention of the crowd. 3. Pearl walked over with a straight face and articulated her words clear and crisp. Excuse me, sir. This is a special parking spot for the president of the corporation. If you read the sign beside you, it stated clearly. Our president could place a cow here if he wanted to, which has nothing to do with you. You're parking in a private space without authorization. You should be the one paying. Marcus thought. Marcus was speechless. As he looked over, it turned out that there was a signboard in front of the spot that stated clearly, dedicated private space. Do not park. In that instance, his face looked like an uncooked potato, confused and ugly. President Daryl, how would you like to handle this? Pearl asked Daryl with a lowered voice. Do you really have to ask me? Daryl replied. Pearl knew what she had to do. Sir, you're not welcomed at the Platinum Corporation. Please leave right away. Also, you have damaged our president's vehicle. She ordered Marcus. Let it go, it's just a motorbike. It doesn't cost anything. Daryl interrupted. With that said, he grabbed Shelley's hand and left. Let's go. I'll show you around. Humph. Shelley nodded and followed excitedly. It was not till now that Lana finally snapped out of her state of shock. She regretted what she said and how she behaved earlier when telling Daryl off for being useless. This whole time he was actually the president of the Platinum Corporation. Daryl. Lana muttered. She had wanted to sign with Platinum Corporation for a few years already. Now that she was almost 30, if she missed this chance, she would regret it for the rest of her life. After a walking few steps, Daryl stopped and turned to look at Lana. With a smile, he said, Are you still doing the interview? Come on up. She was still his teacher. Since she was not too irrational earlier, she deserves another chance. Lana was overjoyed. She followed swiftly in her heels, but she no longer had that proud look of hers. Now, she appeared rather humble and ashamed. On Monday morning, the streets of Donghai City were filled with office workers rushing to work at full swing. Lily pulled her car over and marched into the lobby of Neptunus Corporation. Episode 184. Lily appeared to be under the weather, her brows furrowed in the shape of the moon. It had been over a week since she had last seen Daryl. He had not come home nor called back. A few times, Lily had been tempted to call him, but she recalled what happened in the ward. Why is he such an egotistical man? Do I have to call him first? Whatever, leave it be, she thought as she entered the lobby. Upon entering the lobby, she felt something was off. The staff at the front desk would usually stand to greet her, but today they remained seated and continued chatting even when they saw her. Lily frowned in confusion. Perhaps they had a rough weekend. It was just a minor mistake, so she let it be and continued making her way to the office. However, on her way there, she saw a few staff chit-chatting, and some were even playing games on their phones. The workday had started. What bothered her even more was these people completely ignored her, treating her as if she was just air. They did not greet nor behave appropriately in front of the director of the board. "Hey, you! Put your phones away. Who allowed you to play with your phone during work hours?" Lily stomped over and scowled. The staff did not seem to care as they exchanged looks with one another, totally unbothered, and resumed playing with their phones. They did not care about Lily. Meanwhile, the other staff around them started giggling. What happened? Were they not afraid of their boss? Lily thought. "Hey, the lot of you. Pack your staff and leave now. We don't need staff like you around," Lily ordered, trembling with anger. Meanwhile, her assistant walked to her hastily with an anxious and uneasy expression on her face. "President Linden, something's up," she said. Something was up. Lily wondered. What's up? What given them the right not to obey the order of the president? "Hey! Did you hear what I said? Pack your stuff now because you're all fired," Lily replied calmly. At this moment, a hoarse voice was heard coming from the door. "I asked them to." Granny Linden entered the office slowly, accompanied by William and others. What was Granny doing here? As far as she could recall, Granny never left the mansion. What was she doing here today? Lily wondered. "Lily, stop causing a scene. I asked them to have a day off. After our directors' board meeting earlier, we've decided that you're no longer the president of the board," Granny said nonchalantly, sounding nothing like when she tried to persuade Lily to let go of her shares. This sounded like a bolt out of the blue. An intense shiver passed down her spine. Lily asked, biting her lips, "Granny, why? Why? Are you actually asking why?" William walked forward with a cold smile. "Aren't you satisfied being the president for so many days already? You've had authority for long enough. It's time to give it back." In the past few days, William had been bad-mouthing Lily to Granny. Since he was her favorite grandson, Granny was easily convinced and started despising Lily under William's influence. "Granny." Lily restrained her anger and took a deep breath. "A few days ago, you said you wanted my shares, and I gave you 20%. They were all clearly stated in the contract. I still have 30% of the company shares. How can you fire me? You have not right." Although she only had 30% of the shares left, she still had the largest individual shares in the Linden family. How could they fire her? "Look at the contract yourself." William slammed a folder heavily onto the desk. "It's clearly stated here that we have the right to fire you." The contract clearly stated that Lily was voluntarily giving up all her shares. A few days ago, Granny asked for some of Lily's shares, and Lily signed the paper without reading it carefully. Little did she know that Granny actually pulled a dirty trick on her. "Pack up your stuff and leave," William said impatiently. Meanwhile, Lily was heartbroken and utterly disappointed. She had worked hard for the family for so many years, and in return, she was shown no appreciation and was fired. "Granny." Lily could not help saying. "Lily Bud." Granny stood up, supported by her walking stick. "William's right. Nobody was confident having you as the president of the company. Even though you didn't do too badly and kept the company in good shape, you're still a woman at the end of the day. You're not suited to have such authority. Now that you no longer have the family shares, leave and never come back to the Linden residence again." Episode 185. That's it. They're just going to kick me out, Lily thought, disappointed. At this moment, Lily finally learned how it felt to be in despair. Granny's words poked through her heart like needles. Holding back her tears, she felt her body becoming weightless. After she packed her stuff, she stomped out of the office with tears rolling down her cheeks. The next day, Lily sat on the sofa with her eyes bloodshot from all the crying. What can we do now? How are we going to survive? Samantha sighed beside her. Mom, don't panic. I'll think of ways to earn money, Lily reassured. Think of ways to earn money? Samantha panicked. It's not easy to make money nowadays, you know. What can you do with a monthly salary of $3,000 to $4,000? Right, how could they live off $3,000 to $4,000? Lily contemplated. Daryl did warn her not to give up her shares to Granny. Now she regretted not listening to him. Ding. Her phone lit up with a notification that read, "Gorgeous ladies in their 20s earning $5 million per month from live streaming." In the president's office of Platinum Corporation, Daryl let out a long sigh of relief as he put down the Infinite Elixir manual he was reading. He was bubbling with excitement. A few days ago, Daryl got a hold of 10 or so monk's blood fruit during the trip. As he read the manual, Daryl realized that he could refine 2 types of elixir pills using the fruits he had. He was unsure which pill to refine. One was called the Black Spirit Pill, and another was called the Obeying Pill. The Black Spirit Pill could improve the cultivator's strength, while people who ingested the Obeying Pill would follow any commands given by the person who gave them the pill for 2 hours. The Obeying Pill seemed pretty cool. Daryl was excited, but on second thought, the Obeying Pill's effect lasted only 2 hours. Whatever, might as well make the Black Spirit Pill and increase my strength, he thought. With that thought, he started preparing the ingredients to refine the pill. 2 days ago, he signed his teacher, Lana Thomas, after the interview. She came at the perfect time as the corporation recently started a new shot called 101 Superstar, a follow-up to our previous show, Superstar. The participants were from all over the country, and they were all attractive young women who could dance and sing. The rule was simple: they would select 101 participants and let them compete against one another on the show. Then, 9 finalists would be invited to form an all-girl group. As expected, once the show was released, it became the hottest show around the country. In the past 2 days, everyone of all ages and genders across Donghai City talked about the show. After all, it was a show with gorgeous women and fun games. Who could resist such a fun show? After the first season came out, Lana instantly became the subject of discussion. She was the prettiest in the show with her charm and attractive body. It did not take long before becoming idolized by many men. Of course, this was all part of Daryl's plan. 2 hours later, Daryl opened up the porcelain jar excitedly after the scent filled up the room. As expected, 10 or so pills were laid inside the jar. According to the manual, you could not take too many of the Black Spirit Pill at one time, and you should only take 2 pills every half of a month. Daryl did not care, so he ingested 5 pills all in one go and kept the remaining pills. Once ingested, Daryl felt a wave of heat burning inside his body. The heat began spreading out throughout his entire body. Suddenly, he felt a sharp sensation of pain attacking his nerves. His forehead was covered in sweat, but he grit his teeth to put up with the pain. It seemed like ages had passed before the pain went away. When Daryl gained his awareness again, he was surprised to notice that he had become a level 4 master. There was only one more level to go before he could ingest the godly pill and break through to a master general. Meanwhile, Dax Sanders phoned him to hang out. Daryl got changed and left his office. Once he got out, he saw a male employee laughing happily while watching a show on his phone. Damn it. When others are working diligently, this dude is playing on his phone. Daryl thought. He tried to reason with himself that all the staff was packed with tasks due to the new show's release, so it was okay to play with their phones sometimes. However, this dude was laughing way too loud, and he even snorted when laughing.
For more episode, don't forget to subscribe.